Slide 1. Communication and goals to help enlarge a conversation, as well as address the concern of external and internal noise pollution. Slide 2. Introduction. Through practicing good communication skills, we can experience bonds and caring relationships that provide warmth and love. Peterson discusses keys to balance in communication. He states that the formula to good communication requires listening and talking. However, the key is to listen until the other person is ready to hear what you have to say, and talk until the other person is no longer actively engaged. Stewart identified communication as being continuous, complex, and collaborative, which may help me to improve my I behavior of not listening. Slide 3. Enlarging the conversation. After I completed the assessment and obtained my Uniquely You report, it was determined that I am a CIS. My communication terms of feeling and thinking tends to be emotional. Learning that I was very emotional led to me think about attributes that I need to improve upon on my communication skills, such as taking turns, listening without being judgmental, emotions, kind of not being so emotional, let them take over during a conversation. I tend to be passionate when I speak about things, and that passion can turn into emotion, which can also then lead to being aggressive in a conversation, which is another thing that I need to work on, is being verbally aggressive, because if I become emotional, then I may become aggressive. Holding your rebuttal and defensiveness are also attributes that I need to work on. Ways to expand the conversation can be utilized through listening responses. There are 4 different types of listening responses. When I took the test, the listening response that I scored the highest on, that I tend to use the most, is the empathetic response. The next was the advice response, and then asking question response, and then critical response. Slide 5. The empathetic response is a non-judgmental response. This is a learned, I think, response. I don't think we're geared automatically to be empathetic. So in our responses, that's a non-judgmental response, and we need to work on that, I feel. Active response offers advice. Asking questions is gathering additional information, which can really enlarge the conversation. And then critical response, which is being critical. Slide 6. A specific interpersonal communication need that I hope to improve upon is the taking turn concept, so that the conversation is not one-sided and monopolized by me. Slide 7. Everyone has emotions. It's how we handle them that separate us. I need to assure that I don't let my emotions take over a conversation. Again, when you are passionate about something in the middle of a conversation, sometimes that passion turns into emotion, and I need to make sure that I am not letting my emotions take over the better of me during a conversation, that I stay neutral and one-sided and not monopolize the conversation. Slide 8. According to Peterson, listening without being judgmental requires putting our beliefs and values aside while we are engaging in conversation, so that we can listen without being judgmental. I need continual prayer so that I don't find myself being judgmental of others. I do not want to be judgmental, nor do I want to be judged. Therefore, this is something I continually need to work on. Slide 9. Completing the effective communication self-evaluation, I learned that my listening skill was fair, which put me on a level 3 for my listening skills. I need to make sure that I'm not focusing mainly on me with that level 3, that again, I'm not monopolizing that conversation, that it's not one-sided, that I am taking turns. Slide 10. Holding your rebuttal per Burley Allen can be a way to decrease verbal aggression. For me, I sometimes may want to speak before a person has finished speaking, and this can be considered a form of verbal aggression, which I need to work on. Slide 11. Verbal aggression is communication that attacks another person's self-concept. Verbal aggression is never a good form of communication, and I hope that I don't let my emotions take over my conversations with others, which would allow for verbal aggression to take place. And this is something that I actively am working on. Slide 12. In conversation, we may hear words that cause us to want to lash out or become defensive. I'm guilty of lashing out when I hear something that I perceive as aggressive or hurtful to me. I need to listen without forming a preconceived conception of what I think the other person is meaning or thinking. This is a huge piece of communication that I need to work on is not thinking what I feel is accurate. Although I perceive it as accurate, it is not necessarily how the other person that I'm engaging in communication is perceiving it to be meant. So I need to work at that and ask more questions like, what I'm hearing you say is, and explain what I'm hearing so that they can explain what they mean. Slide 13. Free-flowing communication is a great way to be less judgmental. If I find that if I'm accepting of others, then they're accepting of me. So in turn, we are not being critical of each other. We are having a free-flow conversation. Slide 14. Burley Allen discusses the importance of expressing our negative feelings. It is important to be honest and open when we are communicating. It may be helpful to read the I rational approach. The I rational approach that Burley Allen wrote about appears to be very helpful in communicating in a non-blaming manner. It uses words like win-win and responsibility, all of which are designed to help us from using the blame approach during conversation. Slide 15. According to Stanfield, internal noise pollution may be the thoughts that run through our heads. The thoughts are hard to shut off and may cause us to become distracted and difficult to communicate. These thoughts can run through your head in the middle of the night, during the day, and they can cause you to withdraw inward instead of outward and communicate in a healthy manner. Slide 16. At certain times of the day, we have more energy than others, according to Burley Allen. Fatigue is a factor in listening, since listening takes concentration and effort. For this reason, I feel it's important that we get the sleep needed to cut down on fatigue so that we can decrease the internal noises that affect us during communication. Slide 17. External noises is the noise that we experience every day, such as traffic, dog barking, ceiling fans, loud talk, and environmental noises that exceed our comfort zone. Slide 18. Prolonged exposure to loud external noises can cause stress, which in turn can affect our communication by causing us to be irritable and unable to concentrate. So it is important that we do things that are going to decrease our external noise pollution, which we talk about in slide 19. Slide 19. Some things that we can do to improve external noises are wearing earplugs, making sure the television and radios are at a healthy volume, remove any loud noises in our home and office, such as a loud ice maker or a fax machine that is just too distracting. We need to remove them if we can, or ourselves from that situation. So remove ourselves from situations that are too loud and can be distracting. Slide 20. I will stay focused on my goals to improve my communication skills through scripture and prayer. I will also stay focused on what I have learned in these classes and through my reading. I will dedicate my time and heart to improving my personal communication skills and relationships, just as Caleb did in the movie Fireproof when he accepted the challenge of the love dare. I will also use the concept that is in the American Psychological Association. Before I communicate, which in the book it says written, but I want to take that a step further and say before I communicate written or verbally, that I will order my thoughts logically so that they are in a manner that is not judgmental or one-sided. So I want to make sure that my thoughts are logical and in order. And that ends my slideshow. Thank you.